All right, and welcome back to Logan Simmons Photography. And today I want to talk to you about fine art photography, what it is it any good, is it garbage like the title says, or is there a lot more to it? I have a couple images as well, actually more than a couple that I want to show you. But first, I got this definition from Wikipedia, which is probably the best source of any when it comes to this topic. It's not really a fine definition, but fine art photography, it says, is photography created in line with the vision of the photographer as an artist, using photography as a medium for creative expression. The goal of fine art photography is to express an idea, a message, or an emotion. So that is such a vague term, and based on that, a lot of most photography in a way could be considered fine art photography. So I'm going to show you some things, and the reason I thought of this is because I'm in winter, in this particular, I'm in the south. There's a lot of gray out there. We don't have snow here, so everything just kind of dies and is dead. So my goal was to find something of interest, and I think I got something that might be considered fine art. So let me start showing some images up there on the screen. This is actually of the Chattahoochee River. Believe it or not, if you look at these, you may not be able to tell, but this is actually goes through Atlanta, Georgia, where I am, and then continues south and so forth. So I'm going to flash some images up here on the screen, and what this is these are water that's actually in motion. And what's happened in this case, and I'll kind of show you with my cell phone here because I was using that for the definition, but I'll use a long shutter speed. I'll hand hold the camera, and as the shutter is being dragged out, I will move the camera. So we'll get some actual motion there from that. And I was actually kind of discovered it by accident, and I think the results are pretty cool. So that's what this is. So if you see the white there in that image, those are probably rapids, or where there's been a rock where the water is disturbed. And then obviously the kind of the blurring, the lines that are formed when you move the camera, that's what that is. That's from moving the camera around. So these are pretty cool images, I honestly think, very much. So that's kind of what that is there. Now, of course, we did more than water. This particular river has other things, like, for example, a bridge and, plant life and stuff like that. So let me show you this next one here. This is actually an interstate overpass, and I was actually really, really pleased with this. And we'll probably show like a traditional picture of what this looks like, as I photographed it before. But, this to me, it just kind of says, kind of let the world go by. There's this, obviously the industry that we live in every day. And there's the water just kind of moving by. It's kind of a surreal experience, and really takes you someplace there. So I was really pleased with that image. And then we've got a next one here where you actually see on the left, that's what those two lines are. Those are actually some of the pillars of the bridge. And actually I love how that little rapid there at the right kind of goes across there and adds some character there to the image. So, when you get these abstracts, you can get some really interesting things. Now, these next ones, I'm not too sure about, but I thought they were kind of interesting. You may have a different opinion in the comments or what have you, so let me know. I'd be curious. But these are actually some branches that were on the edge of the river. And I went up there and did the same technique, kind of moved the camera around. And I actually kind of liked it. I know some people might not, but I did. So let me show it to you. This first one here, this horizontal one, you see here this kind of pink orangey part. That's actually a branch, and then you see this kind of turquoise point. That's the water, and the rest of this is probably plants or what have you. And I really like the abstract look, the fine art look, so to speak, in this particular image. So that was pretty cool. Now I do have another one as well, which I'll show you here, just a vertical one. I like this one equally as well. Can't really decide which one I like better. But again, you've got obviously that branch there in the middle. That's what that was. And then you've got the blurred water and all that around you here. So that is pretty cool, I think. Okay, so now moving on, those first pictures were taken in a more of a sunny day. And a lot of times in winter here, not every day is sunny. I don't know where you are, but winter here oftentimes can be gloomy. So this particular one is a similar technique to some of the images you saw first, but you have a completely different color palette. This is actually, it's not a completely monochromatic image, this vertical one you're looking at here. There's actually some green in there, and I think looks really, it's definitely different, but I think equally as pleasing. Just depends on your particular mood at that time. So I was really pleased with that. And the more you go on, like I did some of these of like shrubbery and stuff like that. It's like these, paintbrush strokes, kind of very much, an impressionist look. And it really dives in and gives you some real interest. So awesome shots, I think. Let me see here. I'm going through my list here. Let me show you this next one here. I was really pleased with this one. You've got basically, I believe, these couple shots right here. This shot, it's one shot, I should say, where you have these two trees. I believe that's actually the same tree, and it's been exposed multiple times over the frame due to the long exposure. And it just feels like winter along that river to me. You have the mist. There wasn't really any mist that day when I took it, but I guess the long exposure, the blurring gave us this result. And to me, it is just so awesome and cool. I'm not sure much more to say. That'll let you kind of contemplate it and see, but to me it was something really cool. And then I've got another one of these vertical ones. This particular one, to be honest, I'm not sure quite which way to present it, whether it should be upside down, right side up. Is there a right side? I'm not even sure. But I love the oranges, the greens that went in there, and I think made a really pleasing, very nice image. You know, you could see these images. They would go great blown up huge on a wall. And also, here's an equipment tip for you. You don't really actually need a very high resolution camera to do images like this, because there's not a whole lot of detail. It's all blurred out, so you can actually get away with lower resolution. So if you got a low res camera, give some of this a try. It might be fun. So there you go. Let's see here. And the last thing, this is kind of getting back more to kind of stuff I was doing previously with water, but I wanted to bring this up just to show you how water can be affected by rocks and little debris in the river, things like that. These are all fairly long exposures, around a second or so probably. This first one, the black and white, you have this kind of this blob here in the corner there. That is actually where a rock has come, and with the long exposure, you kind of get this circular thing, and almost like a whirlpool or something like that. It's not, but I just love that kind of that dark part. Of course, you have the rapid there, and that was a lot of fun photographing. And let's see here. This last one here is actually probably one of my favorites here, just because of the composition and the way everything worked out. And I noticed, you can notice this as you're actually looking at the river, but this particular one, you have the rock there, and it's kind of giving you this circular thing, and the water just seems to be painting itself around it. So I was actually really, really pleased with that one. And of course, you have the rapid there off to the left. And there's so many here, I wish I could show you more, but I just kind of love these impressionist, dare I say, fine art photography looks. So I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I definitely like it a lot. Something that's kind of reinvigorated me. That is our discussion on fine art photography. Is it good? Is it garbage? Let us know down in the comments. But on behalf of Nala and I, Nala has now moved to my lap to keep me warm on this cold winter day, do appreciate you watching. Please like, please subscribe, please comment. Let's make this a fun conversation. So appreciate you. You have a good one. Bye-bye.